Welcome to the April 23rd, 2026 school board meeting. Would you please join me for a moment of silence? Thank you. Will you join us for the pledge?
We got a crew here from Charlotte Elementary today. We have Mr. Tommy Baldwin, Dominic Galford, Casey Smith, and Weston Williams. Let's give them a big hand.
Thank you, guys. Next, we have approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I'd like
Mr.
to
Hayden.
vote change, please. Under item 4 at B, for discussion update on the ninth grade annex project.
You want it under 4B?
Yes, ma'am, it'd be for the budget, be curriculum. At least you see a better place for it.
So you want it between 2 and 3? B2 and B3? Or do you want it
Oh,
first?
there is another B already in there. A. Put it between A and B. Between
Oh,
curriculum and
between,
finance.
okay.
Thank you.
We're adding annex update between 4A and 4B. Do we have any other changes or additions to the agenda?
Move to approve as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. Any other discussion? Vote, please. All ayes. Motion carries. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the board minutes from the previous meeting. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have public comment on actionable items. No one signed up. Thank you. Next, we have recognitions.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I would like to ask Miss Mary Morrow to come forward, please. And I would also like to ask Miss Kathy Hickerson and Mr. Wyatt Chocolate to come forward. I want to recognize and thank Horizon Medical Center for partnering with us to provide 16 new AEDs. Mr. These AEDs will be a part of our athletic programs. And so this will help us to have an AED within 3 minutes of any game happening at home, but they're also made to travel with our coaches. And so we thank Miss Mary Morrow and Mr. Chocolate and Miss Kathy for being with us, and thank you for your generosity. We appreciate you. And then this is, if you will remember, we spoke about Miss Kayla Fuller, and her quick reaction may have helped save a student at midnight. And so, Miss Kayla, I want to acknowledge you and your fast and quick response. So if you would come forward, I know you did not know that this was happening, but Kayla is our new Director of Technology, and I want to present this to you for commitment to care for students. And I appreciate you and your fast response. You're new, but you were like a pro, and I thank you, and I know those parents thank you. And so I would like Dr. Marvin to come take a picture, and Miss Melinda Fortner with Miss Kayla. Thank you. Our Bark app, which is anonymous, is the app that went straight to Kayla's phone, and she got a message that possibly saved a student's life. And so very appreciative of that. Thank you. Madam Chair, that's all of the recognitions for this evening.
Okay, next, is there any curriculum and instruction? Then we move to the annex update.
Okay, well, I am glad this was on here because I intentionally didn't put it on there because of just the busyness. So the annex update, we are pulling teams, and you saw Mr. Chocolate here, and he is one on my agenda list to visit because for the future of this annex, we would be placing the medical HOSA team down here so that we could open up a wing to partner with the hospital in case they had to evacuate this hospital. There's 2 hospitals in the state of Tennessee that are at the critical level 1 care. That's if someone gets a limb removed, and that's Vanderbilt and Summit. Most of the patients in our community have to be flown to Memphis, Hendersonville, and those things. I thought it would be a great idea if we partnered with them and we could open up our wing, medical wing, and they could use our classrooms as beds. And so what we would have to do, only it would not cost us anything, but we would move that HOSA medical down and create that atmosphere in that wing. I know that I have been asked by several of you, what is the cost if we open this year for the next year, 26, 27? It would be the cafeteria, but in 27, 28, we would open up that path for culinary arts. We have a gift of $302,000. And the more I think about why this would be important, I could right now place that at Dickson County High School. They have the large room where we can fly drones. I can't afford 2 simulators. That looks like stepping into the cockpit of a plane. So students could get their license hours to fly. We could put it down here at this annex in a classroom and then utilize the gym throughout the day to, even when it's inclement weather, to fly drones, and we could get our drone certification. And Mr. Norman is not with us tonight. He will be back tomorrow, but we are working on a plan to get that up and running sooner rather than later. The update is we decided that we have 2 CTE personnel that go up and teach work-based or check on work-based learning students. Next year, we know that there are more than we've ever had. And I know that Dr. Marvin can speak to that because she and Mr. Norman meet often. They have to jump in classrooms that are empty. They have to look for locations to meet with students. We could bring students in a neutral zone, even from Creekwood, if they met there, to check off the list, to even have our partners. Next year, we could have a wonderful dentistry lane that we are opening that could go here. We could also go ahead and allow the students that do not want that traditional high school to open up Edgenuity and allow them to finish without them moving away from us and going to an online school like Penn Foster that we decided. There are things, the work-based learning, let me jump back. I think we have over 120 students. So they would be in and out of this. Yeah. So with Creekwood, how many do we have at Creekwood?
102 was the last, and I think they were about 140.
Okay. And so that would create Creekwood students not having to necessarily drive back to Creekwood to meet with our 2 CTE work-based learning teachers. And so they would be here in town. You caught me off the spot. I didn't have my notes, but I have added. We are meeting with Nashville State for a year in regards to a middle college, and of course they will walk the campus. We will start those conversations in 2 weeks. Again, we want more kids in higher level classes, and we're very pleased to let you know, working with Dr. Marvin and Mr. Norman, one of my requests, getting more students at the middle school in algebra. We don't want to turn students away. Our 7th graders by state statute get to choose if they want to graduate early, and so they can be on the early graduation path that we tell them in the 7th grade. But that would open up students that still want that traditional school experience with their classmates to get a regular associate's, and we combine our forces with our Creekwood team and our high school team to create a mini college that they don't necessarily have to go to the campus. But if they wanted a business associate, then we would work with their schedules and they would drive to the campus. But this is just a regular associate's degree. They have a nursing medical associates. There's 5 different associates. We would be able to offer one in the 27-28. Now we have students already getting associate's degrees. I think last year Creekwood had 2 to get an associate's from Austin P. And I don't know, there may have been just a few others. I don't have those numbers in front of me from Dickson County High School. But we want to really accentuate that. We have teachers I call professors that I think would take this idea and run with it and encourage students. One of my favorite teachers for my children that I heard at the table was Carrie Joyce and Patty Post. Constant. Just, they learned so much and they were ready for college, taking those classes. So those teachers would be considered our professors of the middle college, but again, we do not have the teachers that has all of the accolades at both schools. And so it would be a win-win for our Creekwood students and Dickson County High School students if we could create and open up classes. We are partnering with UT Martin in some of our CTE certificates next year. We will be working with Austin P, Nashville State, and TCAT. That will happen next year, and we want to continue that. We want to, again, do the aerospace, which we will be working on. We have opened up our online academy where we bring students in to, is it 25 or 30 seats, Dr. Thiel? Dr. Thiel, again, I sound like a broken record, but we want more students. And if we have to extend it to more than 80, we want to do that. We want to make sure that our students, that is not what they're looking for, that we have an lab. It's an open lab. If they go to work, then they'll have school half a day, just like work-based learning, but they're continuing their education online with Edgenuity. They would leave us. I have not spoken with Kat. We do have a meeting, but thinking about what that can look like for 26, 27, whether it's moved up or not. We know that when I spoke with Kat Perez and Dr. Marvin, we have a lot of moving students that are taking all honors that are freshmen would be moving 3 to 4 times up the hill. This is not, I know that it was mentioned, it looks like more Dickson County than Creekwood, but I need you to have a mindset that this is just a building. It's a building that would host both high school students. They're going to play sports at their home school. They're going to go to pep rallies at their home school. We're just opening opportunities that keep them at our schools. The beauty of it is teachers do not have to have 2 classrooms to keep. Every teacher would have a classroom on the hill. So that is just to Dickson County High School. But this will be for work-based learning students for the 26-27 for Creekwood and Dickson County. We could extend HOSA 26-27 for Creekwood and Dickson County. We are hoping to get the aviation. We're soon to order as soon as our budget and the amendments pass. Order the aviation equipment so that we can get that up and running for the 26-27 school year. Lots of moving parts, I know, but the beauty is allowing us to also move into 27-28 without being disruptive with the school and the students that would be there if we didn't move them up. Now, yes, we've got to have the planned written parents communicated, faculty communicated with, but I think it would be very successful. If I asked Dr. Marvin her thoughts, she would say the same thing, not because I want her to. I let them be very real and honest with me at the table. We are going back to Warren County May 7th. I will be taking a team to look at their innovation center. Their innovation center is a little bit different. They require you to be 50% of the students are considered gifted. 50% of students have to get into that school on a lottery. My thoughts are, I want this innovation center opened up to any student that wants to try to do those dual enrollment classes and work those out. We have students, you don't have to be at gifted level to take dual enrollment. We just don't want to turn students away because of the numbers. If we have a class of 5, then Miss Joyce could have an extra class of teaching if she combines some of the CTE students to get a larger class. That is what we don't want to do. This plan would help us push down the expectations for our 7th and 8th grade students to know that they can work on a track that graduates early. They can start their dual enrollment classes early. All but about 70 freshmen will be taking a dual enrollment class, and that is our computer science class. That is next year. We are pushing down personal finance. The reason being is most young kids today have credit cards. They drive nice cars. They have money, they're working jobs. We need them to have a mindset of how you create a positive experience of savings, how you can help yourself financially and be financially smart sooner, not waiting till their senior year to talk about those things. So we're pushing that down to our freshmen. We're excited about these opportunities. We're going to have more opportunities come. One, cosmetology for 27, 28, if it's possible, to open up that path so that we can help the TCAT get more students out in our community in that profession. And we would, if we do that, then we're going to cut down on 5 of their classes that they would have to take at TCAT for that particular pathway. What are the specific questions? I know I have work-based learning students. We're at 200. I'm not going to leave that student. I think the question from Mr. Parker was charter schools or schools coming in, leaving a school open. That school is going to be robust with students, but they're going to be students from both high schools moving in and out. I cannot afford, could afford to put both pathways, CTE pathways at both schools. Money and the cost of equipment is not allowing for that. We're still going to leave welding, construction students from Dickson County High School will move and be at Creekwood for those 2 pathways. There are other pathways and CTE teachers that will continue to do the same thing over there. It's the aviation, which I think it's going to be a large pathway, and the drone license certificate that they will have. I mentioned Amazon had the law change just for them because they're going to start drone delivery in a year. Our kids could capitalize on that. We want to expand our work-based partnerships. Dr. Deloach will be helping us and teaching, coming into with our students on Fridays. He could not commit every Friday or a Friday over here with these students and a Friday over here with Creekwood. I want all of our students to get to have Dr. Deloach and his expertise as a dentist. And if we're in moving dentistry here to the neutral zone, both of our students from Creekwood and Dickson County High School will receive his expertise and partnership. Questions, Mr. Haley?
Thank you. And we've heard that at 3 work sessions. My concern was we left the work session last week and I renewed my timing objection, which I'll renew in the official meeting here. But it's not against the programs. The programs sound great. I like your vision. You were hired for your visions. I think going from vision to implementation without going through board discussion, public input, and those steps is very concerning for me as a board member. And when I got home from the work session and looked through the timetable, it appeared that this was all laid out in notifications. I think the first date for letter would have been today. I think that this project has concerns about facility use. It has concerns for discussion about budgetary, about approval of curriculum. The counties that I've seen have done this, implement policies that affect that. Policies take 2 months at best to approve. While I admire the vision, I admire where we're going, it seems to be in the timing that was brought, not as much as a discussion, but as a presentation to the board, that I hear the presentation aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to hear from the public. That's what we do. We hear from the public and we will hear from them. So since it's an action meeting, I felt like I heard the board speak at the work session, but I feel like it's prudent that the board take some sort of action towards this to set the pathway for it. With that, I do have a motion that I want to make, but I want to give everybody a chance to discuss if they need to or want to first. So whenever the chair feels it appropriate, and then the board can tell us what we're going to do for the next steps.
Ms. Thiel.
So which, I heard aviation.
Yes.
What are the two programs that you would like to see start in next school year? Aviation and what was the other one?
The drone and dentistry.
Okay. So if being at the lower campus is not an option for us, let's just say it's not an option for us, that doesn't mean that we couldn't have, or let me say that I'm asking this as a question. Are those two classes that we could offer at a neutral campus that perhaps is not on one of our campuses? If we could get space, like I'm just wondering how much space would we need for the drone?
Well, the drones would need, like in inclement weather, they need a space to be able to fly.
Fly in it.
My original plan was to possibly turn the pool area into a hangar,
Right.
but it's going to become too costly. And so looking at if I put it in a neutral zone, like I said, to me, it's easier for buy-in if I have students not necessarily having to go directly on specific campuses where there is a neutral zone. We'll still have that,
Yeah.
but I think, mainly it's the cost. I can't put both dentistry and aviation at the schools.
Right.
And I think there'll be two popular pathways.
Right.
Yep. But we'll do dentistry. I will probably hold off on the aviation and start buying the equipment if I get your blessing on the 27-28 to move that into the Center of Excellence or whatever we name it. I'm not stuck on the name that I have pitched out, but we would start that program 27-28.
Right. Because I was just thinking, as we're thinking about partners, is the airport authority or, is that someone that could be a partner that perhaps might have space somewhere that we could have a hangar? I don't know the answer to that, but I was just thinking if literally the space is an issue, then is there something else?
That's a good idea, but I'm looking at time commitments for Creekwood to get all the way out to Silvis Road. Anything's a possibility.
Okay, I just trying to think about it as you said that.
I like your vision.
Mr. Parker.
We currently have construction at Dickson County High School.
Instruction.
Construction.
Oh, construction. No, it's at Creekwood. Welding's at Creekwood. Construction's at Creekwood.
Mark Dawson.
Yeah, at Dickson County High School.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
so I
sorry.
guess what I was aware we had construction. I thought I was aware that we had construction at Dickson County High School, but you're saying we're going to shut it down at Dickson County High School and move it to Creekwood?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's going to stay here at
It's
Dickson County High School.
everything that's there is going to stay.
It's going to stay, and I guess
At the high schools.
um,
It's just moving forward for the future. Just again, with school funding and those things, not being able to put both CTE departments at both high schools.
and to piggyback just a little bit on what Ms. Steele was talking about, and I think more the discussion is that Mr. Haley was referring to is more timing, and this
Yeah.
discussion that I'm gonna piggyback off of is more of planning. But is there an opportunity for, if the lower campus is not available, is there an opportunity for the three classes to start somewhere, whether it be at Dickson County High School or Creekwood High School, for let's see how it works.
Mhm.
Is that an
don't know.
opportunity?
I don't want to say yes, maybe,
Okay.
maybe.
That is all. Thank you.
Not aviation. I will say no to aviation just due to the space. And you've seen a big simulator. That's not something that you could just put here and then take up and put somewhere else. We would want it to be stable once we get it there.
Ms. Bill?
And Aaron had asked the question of Mr. Hall about the charter schools. Did we have a response about that? That's any different from what you had shared previously?
This afternoon, I sent to the board members a memorandum on charter schools. But the short answer is, Mr. Parker was remembering correctly about a percentage utilization use, and that occurs in the state board regulations. But it's not 65% anymore; it's 55%. So they've lowered the threshold for which a charter school could take over. If we were underutilizing the property and underutilized, there's a long, complicated formula of regulations that the state board put out on how you calculate the space and whether or not the space is underutilized or vacant. So there are a lot of factors that come into play, but the short answer is 55% of a building that is not in use is available for a charter school. The key point of that, though, is a charter school has to be operating in the LEA. So currently, we don't have any charter schools operating in the LEA, so we don't have to make a space requirement or a space analysis. So that's the
Thank you.
short, longish answer.
Any other questions?
I'm sure I have a motion to make.
Mr. Haley?
Are you ready? I'd like to propose that we table the Innovation Center until such time that the board can understand the implications regarding curriculum, potential for vacant property, budgetary implications of the project. One word I play should let me know, okay, because I jotted it down. I'd like to table the Innovation Center until such time that the board can understand the implications regarding curriculum, the potential for vacant property, and any budgetary implications of the project.
Tell me again, I have the implications regarding curriculum, and then what'd you say about the vacant property?
Curriculum, potential for vacant property, and the budgetary implications of the project. This will include any move of students associated with this project.
Table the Innovation Center until such time that the board can understand the implications regarding curriculum, potential for vacant property, and any budget implications of the project, and including any move of students associated with the project.
That's good enough.
I second the motion.
We have a first and a second. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
Ms. Brogdon, yes. Mr. Chadwick, no. Mr. Haley, yes. Ms. Lampley, yes. Mr. Parker, yes. Ms. Thiel, no.
Motion carries. Next, we move to finance.
Good evening. First, we'll start with the monthly reports ending March 31st, 2026. And if you look on the first sheet, everything is trending up at this time. Revenues, expenditures, property tax, sales tax, utilities, diesel fuel, and gasoline compared to last year.
All of it.
The next reports you'll see are the summary financial statements for all funds and then the summarized balance sheets.
Do you have any questions?
Motion to approve the monthly financial report.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the monthly financial reports for all funds. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have quarterly.
So these are quarterly reports, again, ending March 31st, 2026. For the 141, you'll see our budgeted, we are at 84% of our budgeted revenues. And we are about, I think, at 65% of budgeted expenditures through the end of March. And for the 142, we're at 56% of budgeted revenues. And we are at 57% for budgeted expenditures. And for the 143, we're at 64% of budgeted revenues and 71% of budgeted expenditures.
Questions on the quarterly financial reports?
Just one question on the 177.
Mm-hmm.
That 130,000, that's that rebate money,
Yes, ma'am.
and 125 has been accounted for.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us where did we end up with it? That was an open.
Well, there's
Conversation.
two lighting fields or two fields with lighting that have not been refunded or we haven't received the rebate on yet at this time. So we're just waiting for that, and the architects are aware and Gerald's aware, and they're working with the TVA to work on that and getting those in.
But the 125,
Mhm.
what did that purchase, I guess is what I'm asking.
Oh, we haven't spent it.
Oh, okay. I thought I was
Mhm.
looking. Okay, got it.
Any other questions for third quarter?
I have a question. On the payrolls, I know do all teachers divide their pay by 12 months, or is there still an option to do it differently?
All 10-month employees are paid 12 months. Mhm.
So it's
Everyone's
suffice
paid
to
12
say
months, I guess.
3/4 of the year, the 3/4 is expended then.
Yeah, well, at the end of March, you still have April, May, June, and July. So there's 4 checks left out of 12. after March.
So
They get 2 checks in June.
so they get, correct, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve quarterly finances presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the quarterly financial reports as presented. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Next, we have budget.
This budget is the same thing that was presented to you all last Thursday. And we've discussed many meetings since before then. This budget contains about a 2.7 increase in revenues compared to our original budget last year, and expenditures are increased about 1.7 million compared to our original 141 budget last year.
Have any questions about the budget?
2 questions.
Mr. Taylor?
Val, are you good with this? Presenting it, explaining it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that after we've all pitched our 2 cents in to the county?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Director, you recommend this budget?
I recommend the budget.
Motion to approve.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to approve the FY27 budget. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have
Thank you.
Creekwood football field lighting.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Gerald, did you want to speak about that? We've been working with Mr. Doug Reynolds, and Gerald will give the update.
Miss Valerie and I were joking back and forth because I think it's under finance, but
Is
so I
that-
was over there today and they have we hired Doug Reynolds to go over and work on those lights that are presently out over there. Between the lights that were out and some that were very dim was about 25 total. They were on their second pole today at about 2:00. They were not going to get finished today, weather permitting. They could finish them tomorrow, but they are calling for rain. So next day or two, they'll have all those up and running. Be ready for graduation for sure.
That is an estimated cost of $5,000.
$5,000.
What we have historically done in the district prior to me was to allow the schools to put in some funding for the lights. What I had proposed for Creekwood, due to being so close to graduation, and we're very pleased with that amount because we thought it was actually going to be over, that we would pay at our level half of that $5,000. I asked Miss Christie that everyone that played on the field, that they take money and help with the $2,500 that was remaining. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a recommendation that this district pay out of our budget the full $5,000 for the repair of these lights. I know, as I've said in this meeting before, those lights were repaired prior to graduation last year. By football season, they were not working. When you've got that many lights out, there's something more than just the replacement of the bulbs. If it were just the bulbs, perhaps, but I think with $5,000, that's something that we should be able to fund within our budget. So my motion is that this district pay for that, and the Creekwood and those that participate at that field not be asked to pay the $2,500.
Ask the question. Or is that in a motion in a
That's
second?
that's my
your
motion.
motion.
I'm
I'm on
waiting
second
for
and I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Haley.
And for the maintenance director, I was interested to see your comment about they all worked at graduation last year, because that is a lot for that time frame. I know you can't predict the life of those bulbs. I know sometimes they don't hold up, but they really should last longer than that. Even if we're just now seeing them out within a year, there shouldn't be that many out. I mean, you see several out a year, but not that many, right?
Depending on when they were repaired. But I think Creekwood sent us data the last time they hired someone to come over. I'm assuming Mr. Reynolds, I don't know, was 2023.
So they were all working at graduation, so they could have been repaired 2 years before at that point, but they were all working a year ago.
I'm going to state that Mr. Reynolds is the only one that has ever, to my knowledge, worked on those lights. Mr. Reynolds has been very, very good to
Yes,
the
he
school
has.
district, to this entire county. And so I could see, that perhaps there's not an invoice, because that's just the type of person that he is. If someone were to call him and say, we need these lights fixed by graduation, he would be willing to do that. But I can't imagine that. I mean, he is the rep for the company that has installed all the lights in the county, as far as I know. I mean, even at our Little League Park, he's the one that has always installed the lights. Do you know which installed them?
Mr. Reynolds.
Do
Mr. Haley.
question for Miss Valerie.
Sure.
Is there somewhere to pull that 2,500 ish from? You can do that safely. You got a place to pull it. Thank you.
Mr. Parker.
I just got a question on, I mean, how many lights? 20, what?
It was 19 completely out.
19 completely out. So
Others were
dim
very
ones, they
dim.
were fixing to go
So
out.
they're
So.
basically repairing.
And I guess I just wonder, which I mean, it is what it is. We got to fix them, right? But are they ballasts in there? I guess.
Yes, sir.
Original pictures since
Maybe not.
So I guess my question, I'm just curious, because I don't know the answer. As of course, as we've been finding bad fields across the county since I've been on the board for the last 4 years, we've been updating lighting at different fields. What prior to us doing that, what did we do as far as fixing the old lights? Because I know we updated both softball fields at the high school. We updated Charlotte's football field. We updated numerous fields in the district over the last 4 years. Creekwood is definitely on our list. But what was the prior protocol for a field that had lights out? Where did that money?
So in the 11 years I've been here,
Yes.
maintenance has not handled that. The athletic department at each school handled it. And then this board some years ago, and maybe Mr. Haley would
3 years
remember,
anyway.
provided $55,000 for the purpose of repairing field lights. Now, I think y'all had some other verbiage behind it that it could go toward XYZ, but for the purpose of fixing field lights. So,
But prior to that, I was here for all that. But prior to that,
prior to me coming here, so we haven't fixed them.
Okay.
Sports, the athletic.
so the athletic, so let's just say it's a soccer field that has light bulbs out. The soccer coach would use his or her gate money to pay Mr. Reynolds to come and fix it. Is that kind of? I'm just asking the protocol because I don't know what it.
That's what I understood, and that's what I understood even before I came here.
Okay.
But I think that was part of the reason maybe y'all implemented the 55 because
to help 'em.
soccer may not have the spectators that football has. I would probably go on record to say I'm pretty safe to say they don't have, so they don't have the gate fee. And I think that's what the 55 was.
I can go back 18 years and it's always been activity fund. Now, whether it comes from the line item for a sport or somewhere else in the school budget, but the split there was not just the gate fees, but the activity fund. We give the activity fund money, and the principal level decides that how to spend amongst the schools on line item by the sports. But we see those audits once a year. I think it was 4 years ago. My recollection was 50,000 a year for the high schools, 25 for the middles, to go towards their facilities, specifically because there were light issues, and we knew we were doing LEDs to kind of soften that blow between the time we started and the time we finished it. Knowing the first one going in would create everybody wanting it, we couldn't afford all at one time. So that money was utilized, was said for lights and such. So there were other things that could have been used for. That had to be approved through director and through finance, even before Ms. Valerie's time. If they wanted to spend that money, it had to be approved to a central office, on what to use it for too. So there were other athletic or school ground things it could be used for. We did not budget that last year, if y'all recall, because the schools, some of them had money that was unspent, and it did tinker with our budget. And also it felt like it had, I think this board discussed the fact that it had shored up what it should have shored up at that point. Another thing to point out that, the athletics used to pay for their transportation to game and stuff 15 years ago, and the board then changed where transportation pays for all the transportation to take that load off of them, to help them to handle things like this right here. So that's a big carrier for transportation. This board paying for all the transportation for athletics and their trips too. So there was a burden taken off them to help with some of that too. So historically, they have paid for that.
Mr. Parker, I'll also remind you moving forward, as you go to the LED lights, you gain a 25-year warranty with those. And I know this board's looking to expand to those where they can. So you got a 25-year warranty on those that we wouldn't necessarily be paying for. If we have a lightning strike like we've had up here at the top of the hill at Dickson County High, it may become an insurance claim, but at least you got that to fall back on for the 25 years.
Mr. Parker.
And I guess that, of course, if Miss Valerie says that we have it, and it's, sure, I definitely want to be for fixing them for sure. I guess main reason I asked that question is because I don't know that since I've been on the board that we've really run across it, because we have run across more, hey, these are ancient and let's replace them, just like we've been doing. So I haven't really ran across the need for this, as far as we need to change out so many bulbs. So I guess moving forward, I'm asked that question more for what is our future procedure after we get past this on any field lighting that we still currently have. I don't, just
Good
like
point.
anything, someone's going to come up to us tomorrow and tell us that it's unsafe, and we're going to be doing it at every field when we really couldn't afford it to do it like that.
Our practices worked good for years. Obviously, it's an issue right now, but maybe a question you might give Ms. Valerie, put her on the spot. Of that $50,000 pool of money that was dedicated for this type thing, how much does Creekwood have in their account now? Do they have enough for their half?
No, they
Been
would have to
expended.
take it out of the teams that play on the field would each have to give a little.
So that money that was in their account has been expended, like we asked them to do last year.
Yes.
And I know there's been some extreme cases over the years, Mr. Parker, on some travel issues. Certain group, got invited to a very big ask of travel representing our county, and the board stepped up and some one-time expenses. Letting it be known that wasn't going to set a trend as much as it was to fix the issue we're at now. We have new administration in some of the schools. We have new administration in the central office. We have new administration in finance, we have new administration here. So the old practices, first day you come on, I don't think anybody comes up and says, Miss Steele, guess what? Football's come over them lights. It's stuff that we learn along the way. And the way it came about this time, it came as a surprise to a lot of us. And the issue is there is a graduation in a few weeks. Quite frankly, when you gave that amount, that's less than half than what it probably would have been if
Right.
they paid half
We-
before.
We're very
So
fortunate.
to me, it's an extreme case. I don't want to be a trendsetter either.
I'd just like to say that I've said this about the lights in many meetings ever since football was going on, that the lights were out. Now, I had no idea it was 19 lights. I just knew there were lots of areas that the field was dark. I think it's unusual that lights work in May of 2025. They're already going out by the fall of 2025. And so, it's not like we're asking them to replace 2 or 3 bulbs that have burnt out. Something, as I've said before, has been wrong with the fixtures or something. I'm glad that Mr. Reynolds is there now trying to make it work and make it be corrected, because it's my understanding that Creekwood football and Creekwood baseball are at least the only 2 high schools that don't have LED lights. So I just think it's important that we show some type of support by, I'm grateful that it's $5,000, but that we show support to that school by paying the $5,000 and not asking them to come up with $2,500 out of the funds where kids have had to raise the money to have those events and to put lights in. I just feel like that's our responsibility as a district.
And for the record, you have the same problem with William James. They have lights out. They've called to say, where are we at on getting LEDs? I can't tell them this board has to vote on that. Until then, they're preparing to fix their lights. They didn't want to fix them if 2 weeks later they're going to put in LEDs. So for the record, William James is in about the same shape. I don't know how many fixtures are out.
Suspect we get that from other schools too. So I agree with you, Ms. Steele, but I think there's always been the question of the gate money, the funds that come into activity, the separation activity versus general fund. Most folks don't know that there is a difference. And I'd venture to guess that many of y'all didn't know that there was one until you got on the board that actually existed to be an activity fund. But I do think this might be an extreme case.
One more question, just to zero in on, are we worried that these won't be working a year from now also, whatever caused last year's new ones to not be working?
I can't answer that.
Is that unusual that they don't work?
I've seen some that last a year. To me, it probably would be unusual that they only last a year, no more than they use them. But also figure that's a 1,500 watt lamp and they put out extreme heat when they're used. So putting a strain on the ballast and the wiring and the fuses and everything there. So they're supposedly built to take it, but I can't tell you when the next one's going to go out. I don't know.
It's definitely something that we ought to look at when our audit comes back in for next year and see where our fund balance comes back up to, and might be able to knock that rest of that school off the list of lights and we can move on to the next one.
Mr. Cortland and I were just speaking. You got football, baseball, William James is the 3 that comes to mind. Just on the spot, that's the 3 that come to mind. The others, I think, pretty well got them covered.
Other than Burns and it's new, it was built with non-LEDs and it'd be hard to replace those immediately. But
I certainly tried to get them to put LEDs when it was built, and I got
it was a group effort with failure.
bucked on that one.
Any other questions? All right, we have a motion and a second. Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have monthly maintenance report.
Board members, this is the report I was supposed to have to you at the work session meeting the other night and just didn't get it uploaded to BOA. Apologize. If you got any questions on what's happened, a lot of work going on during school break there, so just failed to get that on there.
Any questions on the monthly report? We're gonna move to Charlotte Elementary School elevator.
So yesterday we got a report that the elevator at Charlotte Elementary School has give up the ghost, just like the one at Centennial. And best I remember, the Centennial elevator cost this board $110,000. We don't have to do as extensive a repair to the fire alarm system to tie into that elevator as we did there. So in front of you is a proposal, a Sourcewell contract for 101. Oh, and I didn't blow that up before I got in here.
3721.
What she said.
101,837.
If this board elects to approve it, we can move forward with it as Sourcewell contract. If you want to talk about it at a work session, it just pushes the fixing of the elevator off for another 30 days for the school. I'm being told 6 to 7 weeks bare minimum to get the parts here. If you remember, the Centennial elevator took a lot longer than anticipated. So if we run into that, we could be well into next year.
Is this is this a company that did the other one?
Yes, ma'am. TKE does all of our elevator work
Okay,
right now.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Same.
Mr. Parker.
Where's the money come from?
You have to ask Miss Underhill. I have no idea.
You think you'll be able to move it within itself, or will it have to be a will it have to?
It'll have to go by the county commission. All of our.
I guess we're going to move fund balance money.
I was hoping we could take amendments one time as a group to them in June and not, we just took amendments and then I don't want to take them again in May and then again in June. So that's up to you, I guess.
And I understand what she's saying. That doesn't hurt our department. It's just another 30 days at the school level. And I don't know how bad that would be, because typically these repairs run longer than you think anyway. So
We don't have any capital outlay money,
zero.
so it would have to be moved either inside of our budget, or we'll have to. So it's not move. I guess my question is, it's not movable inside a line that we can move ourselves. But it's possible that it could be moved outside of a line where we won't have to move fund balance money.
If it's 30 days, then that's school's out, right? So an additional 30 days.
But it's still pushing the final repair.
How long do
probably
they repair take? I know we don't know, but
They don't say. They told us that
Let me-
at the start.
Austin was 60 days and took 6 months. It's going to depend on when they get to it.
Yeah.
If you approved it tonight, I don't think it make a lot of difference.
I don't either.
And from an
If
amendment
Miss Valerie,
standpoint,
if Miss Valerie needs to wait 30 days, I don't think it hurts us, and I don't know the outcome's any different.
From an amendment standpoint, Madam Chair, the commission has been approached. We've done our capital outlay 177. We've done the curriculum and the buses. Way that's presented to them is those were planned, and they were. They also know that they'll have the end of the year amendments coming up, and they also know that they will be shored up by unspent money. That I think the hopes are this will absorb into that, and likely will, based on what she's presented on the quarterly tonight. End of the day, Get that one amendment for all of it. And it's not just this, you're gonna have the Creekwood water, you're gonna have some other things that are gonna show up in there. And the offset of the savings of what we don't spend, because she's been frugal with it, is going to help that balance. And if it is in the red 50 or 100,000 because of an elevator, because of other repairs, they were told right up front on this last amendment that leaves us money for such items. I think the risk going with one item is it gets confusing to them and doesn't get it done any faster. So I like the idea of putting with the rest of them. I don't think it would delay that much.
I would just hope that we have this repaired by the opening of school next year. And we don't know that that will happen, I don't guess.
And still, they told us they would have the one at Centennial done, and it was several months into the school
No.
year. So
Was it the
So
same year?
that's-
I don't want to get you excited,
I
but
know. So that's why I just worry about 30, we say 30 days doesn't matter, but 30 days might really matter.
I don't know that we're saying it doesn't matter, but 30 days, if it helps Valerie have time to look and see if she can pull it from her budget, I don't know how bad it hurts. Yes, it's 30 days. I get it, but they may drag that on for 8 months. I can't tell you at this point.
They do the
And
same thing to us at the
I
hospital.
think the last one, the biggest problem with the last one was the more in-depth work on the fire alarm system to connect to that panel, which we're not having to go that deep in this one unless they run into a problem.
Mr. Parker.
So I'm just looking at when did we find out the elevator was broke?
I found out, let's see, today is Thursday. Tuesday afternoon, I found out about it, and we got the Sourcewell price yesterday.
And just looking
Their
at
inspector come out to work on it. Their service technician come out to work on it and says they cannot get the parts for the controls. So
just looking at this second paragraph, it just talks about everything outside equipment needs to be fixed by 2/25/27. Like, so this is good for like a year. Is that
the
way
price, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I wouldn't guarantee that.
Okay.
You're right. They're giving themselves a long time.
They're giving themselves a year. I guess
Complete.
I'm kind of just making sure that's not a typo. Like they're, but so if we approve it and the amendment goes with the rest of them, will that move it forward, or will it not move forward until we get the amendment?
I think you approve it based on what Sandra is asking for. Not my place to say that by any means, but
This also says, if not accepted within 21 calendar days of the date of this proposal or the date presented to purchaser, this proposal shall automatically be revoked and shall be null and void. So, we're not going to be back in a situation where if we don't try to vote on it tonight, we won't be voting again for another 30 days, or it'll be more than 21 days.
I definitely want to vote to approve it. I guess I just don't know how to make the motion to help our finance department out. So I'll second somebody if they know how to make the correct motion that helps.
Motion.
That helps our finance department out. I mean, obviously, I won't fix it. So
I believe we can also get that date probably adjusted without any problem.
Question, man. Payment's not due to work is complete, right? Payment's not due to work is complete.
They'll want some material part of the way through it. So as soon as material arrives, they're going to want some money, but that's going to take some time. 6 to 7 weeks is what I've heard so far.
It doesn't say that
They
in this proposal.
they have told us 6 to 7 weeks for
They didn't write it in their contract. I'm just wondering if we might use that as a.
It's probably the same contract we use for Centennial. Because we use the same company.
Mr. Hall. What does that do if we approve that, uh, based on the end of year amendment? If your amendment doesn't get approved, we have in our capital outlay for next year's budgets when they approve it, which would be July, would be the worst case scenario. But can we vote to approve contingent on,
Budget amendment.
we'd have to do an amendment anyway to move a line item at that amount of money, so
Yeah,
just vote to approve this.
yeah. You
Let them
could
do it
vote
time.
to approve it contingent on a budget amendment, and Mr. Clifton can tell them that, and they can govern themselves accordingly.
Motion to approve contingent on budget amendment being approved.
Second.
I may have to request a letter. Sorry, I'm not supposed to speak.
You can now because we've had the second.
I may have to have a letter from Dr. Sutherland stating that on board letterhead to provide them, just to.
Okay. Any other question or discussion? So we've got a motion and a second to approve it contingent upon the budget or the year-end amendments. Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have DCHS roof design approval.
So board members, this is for the roof design at Dickson County High Schools, the AIA document. Turn it over to Mr. Hall here in a minute. I think he has had it and read it, but I know Mr. Lane has done a lot of looking and scopes and getting ready for this, and he looks to get this board to approve it. Then he looks to bid this out very, very soon. That total project budget is $5,020,000. Of which the A&E fees on there, $350,000. And that will need your approval and a signature by Dr. Sutherland. Mr. Hall, I'll right there.
Board members, I have reviewed the contract. It's a standard AIA contract that we've used many times in the past. Satisfied with the contract, that it fairly represents what we talked about with Mr. Lau, and this is the one where we're doing an RFQ, and so only qualified bidders will be bidding on this project. So I recommend. I mean, it's fine legally.
We're looking for a motion to approve this contract for them to put out for bids. Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this contract. Do we have any other questions? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Anything else?
For clarification, that's out for bid and design because this covers that design. So I don't know if you got any verbiage you need to add to that.
We approve the contracts.
Matter.
Thank you. Next, we have HR. Yes, I'm going to back up a little bit and let Mr. Corley speak for a moment. Yes, sorry.
I've got Kyle Jones with your construction manager here, and I want to brag on him. He has been great to work with. Great to work with. We're getting close to the end. I think we got it lined up where we're going to be ready for graduation. I'm telling you the good news first, then the bad news a little later. Project up to this point, we have not had, or he has not had one change order. We haven't paid anything over his contract. There were some requested items, such as we got. I'll just read it to you, just don't mess it up. We would like to add a HVAC screen on the cooling tower at the football field at the sports complex. Thank you. the thing sounds like a jet plane taking off. Got trees growing out of it, out of the existing screen. It just needs to be cleaned up. You put $7.2 million into something, you want to get it looking right. We've got some additional concrete. You know, I've come to you before saying that if you wanted anything in that area now's the time to do it. We've got 2 additional pads for your tennis court bleachers. If you get your state tournaments or regional tournaments, you've got seating there now. And while we did that, we had a little area and we put a couple of picnic table concrete areas where you can have a table there to eat. Gerald and the director here, when we looked at the bleachers, they were trying to wind up the home side. We had shown drink rails on the up top row of bleachers. There were 4 sections of drink rail. They would like to delete that. Gerald says the kids will have it torn down in less than a year. What's going to have to take the place of those are more seats. And Toad Vine, the manufacturer, is asking for more money for that. And they won't take the drink rails back because they're special made for that set of bleachers. Also, when we were doing the pads for the tennis court, when you turn the bleachers around, the existing ones, to watch tennis, right now they're aimed toward the football field. When you turn them around, there's a storm drain right in front of both of them. Person step off the bleachers, they was going to fall about 1.5 feet. We raised those grades. And I can break you, but the total change order that we're asking for is $40,713. And doing a $7.2 million project and coming in with one change order for $40,000 is very good. It's less than 0.5%. So anyway, that's what we're requesting, and that'll wind everything up. The only thing that won't be done for graduation will be the track surface. We've got asphalt though. We're asking for approval for a change order.
Question. Back here, Ms. Underhill, if I may. The entire $177.15 million included 4 different projects. Is that 40,000 still keep us under the 15 million, not counting the rebate from TVA? It doesn't exceed the 15 million? Motion to approve.
That was the first thing we did was met with.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the change order for $40,713. $40,713. Any other discussion or questions? Vote, please.
Smiling.
All right. Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
All right,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Portland.
Portland.
Thank you, Mr. Kyle.
Now we'll move to HR.
May I have a point of order
Yes.
question? Do we need to add that to our agenda? We made a vote.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Vote, please. All ayes.
Motion to approve the change order in the amount of
$40,713.
$713 recommended by the architect.
Just curious, I think we need to make the motion to add it to the agenda. Is that?
Do you?
I think it's got to get on, it's either got to get on the agenda or we have to do it again here outside of the meeting, but then it wouldn't be inside the called meeting. So it's an either or situation. So since we suspended the rules, you can revote it here, and then we can go back into session and everything will be.
Let's do it that way. My motion stands.
Second.
Vote, please.
I'm sorry, hang on.
I'm sorry.
Repeat that amount again.
$40,713.
Voting's open. All ayes.
Motion to return to regular session.
Second.
A motion is second to return to regular session. Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. We good now? Now, human resources.
Miss Hall is at a function tonight, and so I'm going to go over the report. You see retirements, resignations, non-renewals, leaves of absence, hires, transfers, assignments, and reassignments. I would like to read the retirements from our district. Jessica Ann, first grade teacher, Oakmont Elementary. Tracy Brown, 8th grade social studies teacher, 30 years. Miss Jessica Ann was 3 years. Lori Collins, Tennessee learning loss teacher, 30 years. Karen Cost, RTI manager, 1 year. Phyllis Finney, kindergarten, 2nd grade teacher, Charlotte Elementary, 29 years. Rexanne Hartley, special education interventionist, William James Middle School, 10 years. Cynthia McCain, 2nd grade ELA teacher, Centennial, 26 years. Keith Ross, physical education teacher, Centennial, 25 years. Randall Tidwell, bus driver, transportation, 51 years. Congratulations to all of those who have retired and who have spent many years with us in the Dickson County school system. Thank you. And then you see the next sheet where resignations for the month of March. Are there any questions? I would like to share with you the tenure list that has to be approved tonight. This is an exciting time for these teachers mentioned on this list. These teachers have been recommended for tenure by the principal according to policy and TSA 49-5-503. These are the credentials that they had have to have in order to be placed for tenure. They have to have a degree from an approved four-year college or a career tech teacher who has the equivalent amount of training established and licensed by the State Board of Education. They hold a valid teacher license issued by the State Board of Education based off training covered on subjects and grades taught, has completed probationary period of 5 years or not less than 45 months within the last 7 periods, the last 2 years, being employed in a regular teaching position rather than an interim teaching position. Has received evaluations, demonstration of level of overall effectiveness of above expectations or satisfactory above expectation, significant above expectation, as provided in the evaluation guidelines and rules adopted by the State Board of Education during the last 2 years of their probationary period. And here are the names. Jim Akins, Dickson County High School. Tristan Akins, Dickson Elementary School. Mason Anderton, Dickson Elementary School. Amber Brown, Centennial. Brittany Bussell, Stuart Burns Elementary. Justin Burns, Stuart Burns Elementary School. Kelly Cunningham, White Bluff Elementary School. Kayla Long, Creekwood High School. Joseph Malone, Dickson County High School. Carly Masters, Stuart Burns Elementary. Kayla McCormick, Stuart Burns Elementary School. Todd Potter, Burns Middle School. Stephanie Ragsdale, White Bluff Elementary School. Luke Schindler, Dickson Middle School. Ellen Warden, Burns Middle School. Philip White, Burns Middle School. Brooklyn Miller, the Discovery School. I ask that you approve these teachers who have met requirements for tenure.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve this tenure list. Any other discussion or questions?
Is it correct? Is it correct they have to start at least their first day next year to
Yes.
get the tenure? Thank you.
Any other questions? Vote, please. All ayes. Motion carries. Next, we have field trips.
Students were in many places, and we have Creekwood High School. They're going to Mammoth Cave for their science club. Dickson County High School is also going to Mammoth Cave. Creekwood High School, Music in the Park. They're going to Branson, Missouri. Creekwood High School, Fishing Tournament, Pickwick Lake in Alabama. Creekwood Fishing, Paris, Tennessee. Dickson Elementary, Beach Bend. That may bring back some memories for some of us. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Dickson County High School, FFA Leadership Camp. Dickson County High School, UDA Dance Camp, Tennessee Tech University. Creekwood High School Cheer Camp, Tennessee Tech in Cookeville. Creekwood Baseball Camp, Athletics, Waynesboro. Dickson County High School TSSAA State Championship, Hardin Valley Academy, Knoxville, Tennessee. That's all of the field trips wrapping up the year.
I noticed the Creekwood High School Music in the Park does not have chaperones checked, but they do have 2 male and 2 female listed on their
Okay.
form.
And which one was that?
Music in
Music,
the Park,
okay.
Branson. It's just not marked on the
Okay.
front page. But it does have listed on the feature coaches there are. Have any other questions about the field trips?
Can we follow up and make sure Dickson County Dance, we also get and verify the insurance?
Yes,
If
we
the
will.
parents are not.
And I will let you know.
Do we have a motion to approve the field trips?
I make a motion to approve the field trips contingent on adding the insurance information.
We have a motion and a second to approve the field trips contingent on the insurance information. Any other discussion or questions? Vote, please. All ayes.
Thank you.
Next, we have policies.
Good evening. We have one policy for second read, 5.500. There have been no changes to this policy since it was passed on first read last month. And as we discussed at the board planning session, no changes since then as well.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve policy 5.500. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have first read.
We have one policy on first read, 1.403 agendas. This was discussed at the planning session, and Mr. Hall has made some edits based on the discussion that happened at that meeting.
Yes, Mr. Parker.
You know, I know discussion was a little bit about maybe getting it all in time and combining people who want to speak on the same thing. Let's just say there's one topic and 15 people come in and want to talk on the one topic. I'll be honest with y'all, I don't like it. I don't like a time limit on it. I think when we do that, I think we're limiting the people that vote us into these positions. I got nothing else to do on the fourth Thursday of every month except be right here all night long. And I will sit right here all night long. And we can have a recess if there's 40 people, take a break, and I come right back because that's what the people who are going to talk voted me to do. So I'm a no vote on anything that limits a person talking. That is all. Thank you.
Is there a certain line you're referring to in this?
You know, all the commenters at the vote via the sign up. I'm at 21. I'm just reading through it. Groups of persons wanting to speak on an item agenda.
So that's the specific line.
It's just saying they're limited to one speaker unless otherwise determined by the board. I don't want to, I feel like when we vote, if the board votes to pass this, the board's going to vote to determine to limit their time, and that's part of it, I guess.
Just for clarification, that has been in the policy all along. That part has.
I still don't like it.
I understand. I'm just saying that wasn't a change. That wasn't a change.
Right.
We discussed.
And just I got nothing else to do on the fourth Thursday of every month.
But the fourth Friday.
Well, we can go into Friday.
What about when you look at like line 32, we're saying the chair reserves the right. Would that be palatable to you in the earlier that we have the right to limit, or still not?
I'm here all night.
Okay.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I don't know that you're telling them they can't speak. You're just setting a time aside for that every meeting. And they could come back at another meeting. I don't know that I agree with you, except I think no limits can be dangerous based on 2 or 3 extreme events over the past and unknown future extreme events. More into a filibuster approach than being effective. Just share that thought.
I've got a question also on line 30 where it says public comment shall occur at the beginning of the meeting prior to undertaking the agenda. So would that keep it the same place where it is? Undertaking means starting the agenda, not approving the agenda, correct?
Yeah, undertaking, that, it would keep it where it is
For the public
for
comment
for
part?
public comments on agenda item. General public comments, because we've changed the policy to have two tiers
Separate,
of public comment. If
yes.
you're on the agenda, you speak before the agenda item. If you're speaking about something that's not on the agenda, you speak at the end of the meeting or whatever time the board determines those public comments to occur.
And just on clarification, so I understand. So we currently have public comment on actionable items, and I feel like that needs to stay there before we take action on an item. So if someone wanted to speak on, monthly finance report, they would speak on that prior, but our public comment would be at the bottom of the agenda, and they can come tell us that, we need to cut our grass a little shorter, or, just anything in general. Is that the way I'm reading that right?
Correct. We would add somewhere around, around 7 or 8, or ahead of 9 general public comment.
Yep, perfect. I like that. I don't like the time.
So actionable items is not necessarily something we vote on. It's anything on the agenda.
It, whatever's on the agenda that the public has signed up that they want to talk about, that's on the agenda.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Haley.
Ms. Steele, I'll relinquish to you. In her defense, she can't see you right there. But I can see you.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like normally I'm just.
That's better. I just said she couldn't see you.
Yeah. On line 23, I'm just wondering if we make the shall a may, because this way it says shall be limited to one speaker. May be limited. I think for me that would soften what Aaron is talking about somewhat. And I also thought there's not a lot that a person can say in 3 minutes. So I was just wondering about 5 minutes.
Mr. Haley.
It does say in that same sentence that unless otherwise determined by the board. So I think the board can choose to let everybody speak. And I also think that this board's been very good about people that weren't done to a board member can ask to add time and the board can vote for that. Yours in 3 and 5 minutes is pretty great. If you want to do a 5 minute, you need to be on the agenda to present to the board and you have more time. So just a thought.
The 5, this is 1.403.
This is the 3.
1.404 is getting, and it gives you 5 minutes. If you follow that procedure of 1.404, you get 5 minutes, right? Okay, I just want to clear that up.
That's why I thought maybe we could just allow, because I heard your concern last time, and I just thought maybe if we had the two agree, might help you feel better about it.
No.
Then let's just keep it at 3.
Another thing I think that we've probably not done real well at as a group, if you're going to present to the board, you're supposed to have them turn their documentation in to give to us so we have an idea and we have some background what they're speaking on ahead of time. And that allows that one to move on, but also should there be more time, you know why there should be, as opposed to 2.5 minutes in saying, I want to hear more. So that's an agenda item. If they ask to be on the agenda, it's no different than one of us being on the agenda, turning stuff in, what it's about.
I had one more question.
Yes.
The whole thing's kind of talking about public comments, which is what's before the agenda, and then general public comments are after the agenda. So in line 21, it says all commenters have to denote what agenda item they're speaking on, when general public commenters may not be. So should that be Public commenters shall denote which agenda item. But we still want the general public commenters to sign. Is that true? So that just may need some work to make that clear. Yes, everybody has to sign. Everybody has to indicate what they want to talk about, and everybody has to indicate their resident and address. But everybody's won't be an agenda item. Yeah.
And I appreciate that comment. I understand what you're saying, and I think I can revise that so that it's clear that everybody has to sign up. And if you're talking about an agenda item, then you have to denote what agenda item you want to talk about.
Now, will we have two separate signups, one for agenda item and one for
I just envision one sign up, and then if it's an agenda item, you mark in that column. If it's general, we'd have a agenda item, write it down there. If it's general, you put your topic down there if you wanted to. You don't have to under the law, but we'll give them an opportunity to tell us if they want to.
I'd like to make a motion to approve policy 1.403 on first read with discussed changes to be addressed on second read.
To wait a month to approve this, or were we thinking this had to be?
No.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it was the law changed, right?
Yeah.
Got to get it in pretty quick.
we have a first and a second by Mr. Chadwick. To approve it on first read
We discuss alterations.
with discussion for second read for the changes. Did you let him know your changes?
Who's that? Mr. Winston. Yeah, it looks like he wrote them down. So
You don't miss much.
Any other discussion or questions? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Thank you. Next, we have TSBA Board of Director conversation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 2 years ago, I came to the board and with my intent to run for the TSBA State Board of Directors for Mid-Cumberland. I was elected to that position and it's coming to an end. It's up for election this year. One of my requirements is to turn in an application, update information, and also it requires my board to approve me to run for that position. So it's your will for me to run for that position. I would ask you to pass that and let your intent be known.
feel like you served Mid-Cumberland good. I'll make a motion to approve.
Thought that was a question. Thank you.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for Mr. Haley to apply or however be elected for the TSBA Board of Directors. He has this board's approval. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
Ms. Brogdon, yes. Mr. Chadwick, yes. Mr. Haley abstained. Ms. Lampley, yes. Mr. Parker, yes. Ms. Thiel, yes.
Thank you. Madam Chair, out of an abundance of caution, we passed our budget tonight, and that is a once-a-year process that we spent a lot of time working on. And I had a big note here and had it in my mind that before we passed that budget, I was supposed to disclose that I have a daughter that works for the school system, and that my vote for that budget was not affected or directed by the fact she works for the school system. So I want to make that disclosure of abundance of caution during the same meeting to the board and to the public. Anyone else can have the floor.
I need to also.
They got to disclose relationship also.
Disclose the relationship. You have a son.
I have a daughter, a son, and a daughter-in-law.
I got a wife.
My daughter's a substitute teacher.
She's contract, so you're good.
I feel left out.
For the first time in many years. Thank you.
Thank you for making those disclosures. Next, we have director's report.
Well, we are in the midst of spring sports, lots happening. We just finished Grease at the play at the high school. Some of you got to see that. And the students did a really good job. I got the opportunity to go to Creekwood too. And they, the theater, they put on the play Descendants, and it was really good. So proud of all of those students who've worked very hard and in their performances. We have a lot of talented young men and women, and it takes a lot of time, just like participating in any sport or club. It takes time, and I'm so proud that students do that. We will be April the 28th, next Tuesday, having the Directors Awards for our students. And on May 5th, a lot's happening. Mr. Parker, on May 5th, Teacher Appreciation Banquet. And so we ask that if you can, if you would come, and if you would like to come, then we would also appreciate you inviting your spouse to be with you. Allison will be contacting you to get a count as to who could participate. So, other questions? Get out and see some girls flag football, some good stuff, and baseball and softball, big crowds at our schools. We are something new this year with Andrea Bothian. We are actually at Walnut Street Church of Christ contacted us and asked if Miss Melissa Garden's team could come out and allow their pre-K students that will be attending kindergarten to get on a bus and to look at a bus and talk about bus safety already, so that would alleviate some fears for students that will be riding buses. We will be out there next Wednesday and Thursday. Andrea and I will be out there Thursday to be with that preschool class, and we'll take some pictures and share. But excited about the partnerships, and I'm glad they reached out to us. I appreciate you passing the budget for us, and it will move on to County Commission. I want to say thank you to all of our directors and the hard work that they put into this budget. Many conversations, many, and I just appreciate them and their vision for their departments and where we're headed next. So thank you very much.
So we have comments by DCEA.
Good evening. Over spring break, DCEA went to Capitol Hill and we met with legislators in the House and the Senate about the current bills that we're matriculating. We want to go on record publicly thanking Jody Barrett for his unyielding position against vouchers and all of the support that he has given the teachers of Dickson County. Just in case you didn't know, HB 2532 expanded the Education Freedom Scholarship to 35,000 recipients. And while Representative Barrett did try to tack on a testing amendment to the bill passed without any amendments. Therefore, the students receiving the Education Freedom Scholarship do not have to take standardized testing. So there is no modicum of accountability for that tax money. Conversely, we're very happy that HB 1881 did not pass. It would have removed the testing requirement for students receiving the Educational Savings Act funds. Now, if you're confused, it's because it's basically both voucher money. It just depends on where it's going. So the ESA are students in Shelby County, Metro Nashville, and Hamilton County exclusively.
and they each receive $9,787 to go to private school. But they do have to take state testing, and we are relieved about that because at least that's the only data that we have that actually does compare private school students who are receiving public tax money to public school students who are losing said tax money. And we do have copious data from that to prove that they are not out progressing public schools in achievement or in growth. So victory there. Locally, there will be a forum for school board candidates and mayoral candidates on April 28th at 6 p.m. in the Dickson Library Government Building, Room B. The event is hosted by Public School Strong, and we encourage everyone to attend and get your questions answered. And lastly, the greatest part of our advocacy in DCEA is preparing future generations to become educators. And we will be recognizing all of our future teachers at our 4th annual Future Teacher Signing Day on May 6th at Creekwood High School in the library at 4 p.m. All of these future educators are guaranteed a DCEA mentor for as long as they are in university to work with them, answer any questions they have, send them care packages, things like that, to encourage them to continue to become an educator. And they are guaranteed an interview with Dickson County Schools, not to be hired, just to be interviewed upon their graduation as part of their signing day. 2 of these signees, Miss Bella Hipshire from Dickson County High School and Miss Abigail Ritchie from Creekwood High School, will receive a $1,000 scholarship each to be presented at the Dickson Schools banquet on May 5th. And we hope that you can come to both events and show your support for these young people who are going to become future educators. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Joyce.
Next, we have comments by board members.
I was just going to say, in the last couple of weeks, I went to a play, went to the essay contest, went to a flag football game. Enjoyed all 3. Just appreciate all those outlets for our students. There's so much you learn from that type of activity, and just all of the coaches and teachers and staff that plug in to make those things happen and teach our kids how to do things well. Just made me proud of Dickson County Schools.
I voted no on tabling the issue. I think of the innovation building, because we can't stand to lose students. They're finding ways to get online and take subjects in weeks instead of years, or a couple of years, to get that diploma, not realizing just what that diploma means from some of these online schools that don't have the best of, from what I've read, credentials. So I think we need to move as rapidly as we can to put some of these programs in place. I mean, I think we have a chance to put some programs in place that people around us would be envious of. I don't think you don't do things to get envied, but I mean, we're interested in doing the most for our students as possible. And I hope to see that we take this back up and move forward.
Any other comments? I want to thank all of you who worked on the budget. It's a lot smoother than what we had last year, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Valerie, for all your hard work. And for everyone who had to make cuts to make it work, we appreciate that too.
And since one church reached out to us about their kindergarten, could this be something that we could offer to
Possibly.
all of them?
Possibly, absolutely. We were tickled they reached out. So when Miss Melissa Garton gets back, we will have a conversation with Miss Andrea Babian. Yes.
I mean, I can understand little ones crawling up on the bus.
We have a list of upcoming meetings. May 7th is a planning session at White Bluff Elementary. And we've had a request to add another one that next week to discuss the Charlotte Middle School. To get with Brad about some plans and thoughts about what we want, because we need to move on getting something presented to the county commission in June. So we need to meet with them before our board meeting in May.
Is that meeting at the school?
No, it would be here. Well, that's up to Dr. Sutherland. I can't make that decision.
I think it'd be appropriate if you can make that happen. I got one more thing, if you don't mind, Madam Chair. Do you have any, as we're on upcoming meetings, do you have any dates in mind for a board retreat with the director?
Can I interject with that?
Yes, Mr. Haley.
She doesn't, because it's my fault.
Okay. As long as we got someone to blame it on. I was going to blame it on her, but.
So when you brought that up, I just sent that. I did reach out to TSBA and get some dates they had available, and they were sent to me, and I emailed her twice, so they're on the way, and I've forgotten again today. So they just came to you. She now has those dates, and we'll get with you on those. Y'all
take your time,
reach out
Madam
to email and get some
When
dates.
those might be.
Well, first, let's pick a date for the second week of May for the Charlotte.
Thursday.
Pre-quick graduation.
Oh.
I mean, it's going to be a tough week.
Take it
Can
day
we
by
meet-
day.
Can we meet prior to that?
Tuesday?
I don't know how long the presentation, do you know how long the,
As far as the architect goes,
yes.
I've kind of stuck my nose in to keep it on track schedule wise. So I know that I've pushed them to have us a design draw. And I think he's met with the Charlotte School and also with our Southern ones. And both those presentations were 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on your questions. But I'd say with the board having input, when he get those finalized from what they put together for us, I'd say an hour or less. It is mainly here's what they've come up with based on what we've told them initially, based on what the admin has told them here, and now with the school staff met and shared their input, he's going to bring it all together on one design and say, board, what do you think? And your input or your changes depends on how much discussion you want to do. But I would think an hour would be plenty, wouldn't you? From what you saw? They're longer than I was, but
We did more listening than really answering questions, so you may want to say an hour and a half
Yeah.
at least.
it's not going to be 3 or 4 hours.
No.
So why weren't others of us invited? Was this something that just happened, or how did this happen?
Well, I met with him first, and then we wanted to share it with the administrative team and then share it with y'all.
So no one here has heard this.
I haven't heard the whole thing, but I'm the one that pushed that, Miss Till, and I'll tell you why. 2 of us can't meet on that without making a public meeting. And my only goal is we have a calendar to meet. And I told the commission that we'd bring something back in a time frame. So I did get with the architect and I said, can you make this time frame? I don't want to do it a month earlier because I don't want us to get to where we don't have funding for it. And so I encouraged him to reach out to Dr. Sutherland. They set a meeting up and I dropped in, make sure we was on track time wise. And the same when he met, I think he told her then he want to meet with the staff at the school. So they set that up for yesterday or the day before. And I dropped by there for the same reason. And my question to him was, can you get it to the board in May where we can have our input to vote on in May to carry the county commission? So I think it was me more nudging him to stay on track rather than come back 2 months from now and say, we got to meet with this group or that group. So there really wasn't anything organized as far as input except from administration and the school people.
So I'm just thinking if the presentation was an hour, then that how do we get to stay on the timeline? How do we get our input? Or
And
how
that's
do
what
we-
this meeting
that's
is
what
for,
this is.
this planning session, for them to show what they have and then your input on if you want changes or have other discussions other than what we have talked about in prior
And they'll
sessions.
take that and they'll carry it back and bring it back for our meeting. They took their ideas and carried it back to
They're
work on it.
quick getting back
Yeah.
with changes, but that's why we need it before our May
Gotcha.
regular meeting.
The reason I'm not trying to push, I'm just trying to ask questions, because one of the things that we said about the innovation school is that we wanted to get community input. So will there be a time in this process that we get community input as well?
Can I address that also?
Yes, Mr. Hayes.
So, and remodeling, building, developing, growing schools has always been confusing. I've done it on a couple of occasions and it's still confusing. So I kind of understand where you're coming from is where does the board get involved? Where's the public? But we hire a design team to take our ideas and they've heard us talk about it for some time. They talk with the admins, their ideas, and the schools I mentioned. Then we'll come to us and we'll throw our ideas and they'll finish a plan. It'll be a design. It won't be a set of drawings. We'll carry it to the commission and say, this is what the board's going to recommend. And hopefully they'll put funding up for it. Once the funding comes up, then they'll finish some better design schematics. And then if we want to do a public input at the schools, we can. In the past, we were looking for where to put a school. So we had some different location meetings, but this will be on that school. So they will have a chance to see that design work once it's designed. But I don't think that the public working on the design would ever get you to a point where you would get anywhere with it.
Oh, and I'm not talking about the design. I'm just talking about
The rendering.
yeah,
Yeah.
to see, because they might have some ideas that we've not thought of that.
And
could be
and like Mr. Haley said, we won't have that much detail when we present to the county commission.
Okay.
But I think what you said to them was all the ideas you want, but it's got to fit into a budget.
Yes,
So
right.
that's where he has to put that together.
Yeah, right. Okay. Thank you.
So we need a date for the planning with Mr. Brad to discuss that.
What about the Tuesday?
Tuesday, the 12th.
Well, 7th we have a work session already, right?
That's what we're talking. We already have one on the 7th. That's correct. We're adding one for Charlotte Middle School discussion. You have anything else at 12?
Let me see here. Well, no, we're good. To the 12th, and we want it at Charlotte Middle School, correct?
I just thought that'd be fine, but it
Okay.
doesn't matter to me.
I think it's fine.
Okay, now we'll move to the dates that Mr. Haley sent me.
We'll have dinner.
Sorry for the
No, it's fine. The May dates are the 11th, the 18th, or the 21st.
Oh. The 11th County Commission.
Those are day long at TSBA in Nashville.
We'll be putting up it.
Okay.
Probably
So probably
all
not the 11th. We have some June dates too, if you want to push it to June.
You say the dates again.
For May, I'm going to say the 18th and the 21st. Regular sessions.
I think this
So
is a 7 to 4 o'clock
yeah, it's
deal, right? I mean, we'll be
7.
It's it.
leaving here at 7 is what he. The June dates are the 15th, 17th, 18th, 22nd, 24th, 29th, and 30th. So it just depends if you want to do it in May or June.
I think I'd really do it in June.
Well, figure out. vacation is.
You say the June dates again. Sorry, I was
June 15, 17, 18, 22, 24, 29th, and 30th.
Do we have a time frame that we have to have this decided, or is it just possibly lose dates as they go?
I don't think there's a time frame unless somebody takes one for something else, but
I mean, I'll give you some time to think about it.
Yeah.
And y'all just let me know, and we'll get with Mr. Torres. And
I think I personally rather do June if that helps y'all's calendar, but I don't know that I care what day it is. So
Well, I didn't get the dates, but June.
17.
Well, I'm.
Oh, you don't know your.
Oh, I know June the 27th through.
It's June 17th, 18th, 22nd, 24th, 29th, and 30th.
Okay, so on the 29th and 30th of June, I'm not available.
Okay.
Anywhere from the 26th on, I'm not available. Other than that, I can.
You said no on the 15th.
28th it is, yeah.
County Commission. So 17th, 18th, 22nd, 24th, the June dates. Seventeenth. June 17th. Or this is at TSBA.
Oh, this is TSB.
So it'll be an all day thing.
Okay.
I don't know that it'll take all day. I think
Not
years
this time,
ago, it's kinda
but-
faded off some, but
to
what
I
we
would
make of it, with it.
just thinking here. Does it matter? Don't take this to heart, anybody. But Monday would probably be better for me.
Okay.
That's what I think my lowest.
But don't let that.
So the
don't let
22nd.
that would be that. I like Mondays. Instead of in the middle of the week, as far as my job goes. But I'll make anything work.
And I can't do the 20. I can't do either of the last 2 weeks. Okay. So the 15th, it's a Monday.
Can you write that?
That I know we don't have the date, but this is just my question about the location. We could, like, I know we don't. There are other places. Are there other places that we might could meet in this county? Like the Chamber of Commerce, for example, so that we're not all going to Nashville, but one of them are coming here. Is there a reason that we meet at TSBA's office? Is it just to get to know their staff?
I think it was our choice as a board. And we've tried for years to do these planning things. And for the first 12, 14 years I was here, we couldn't make them work. And finally, about 4 or 5 years ago, the board committed to doing it, but felt like from distractions of I've got to be somewhere in 5 minutes or I'm going to be 20 minutes late when you were here, it made the distractions a problem. So a retreat basically removes you from distractions. I think the board discussed then, and some of y'all were here at that point, that maybe incorporating that into summer law or other events and tying it in when you come down to half a day. I know Cheatham County does theirs on a weekend, I believe, usually in January, February. We can change that. We can change the location, but a retreat's meant to be separate than a regular planning session. It's supposed to be focused on the vision for the year and the work for the year. So the location is to remove the distractions.
And I'm happy to remove the distractions. I think it's sad if we think that we are going to vision for a year in less than a day. Just because, I mean, we've just talked about the Innovation Center and we've said, let's not do that because we've not had time to plan for it. So, like, is that something that we would discuss there? And then how do we actually have those conversations? I'm definitely not trying to pull myself out of planning, but just thinking, I mean, it's our responsibility to plan for this school district for, almost 8,000 kids and for all of the teachers. And I just want to make sure that I'm dedicating enough time to it, whether that's a day, 2 days, 3 days. So it's not that I'm trying to avoid that. I just thought, like, if Ben is the person leading it, he's already in here. Like, if we're meeting here, it's going to be a distraction. But if we meet at some other location that's off site, I thought perhaps that might be an option. But
The
I just,
retreat's about not planning for the year, like you're speaking of. I agree. You can't do that. The retreat is about laying out the goals for the year. It's a format we go through. It's more of what are we going to do for the next year? We want the Innovation Center done in 3 months. We want it. It's an annual plan to have planning, I guess, for lack of better words. And you went last year, did you not?
oh yeah,
So
I
it's
did.
more of a structure than it is actual planning.
Because at that time we didn't really have our goals and objectives outlined. So, we don't get updates as far as like where are we on this measurement. I mean, I know we get updates about where we are, but to just say that, I was always taught that if you have your goals and objectives and you put them on the shelf, you're not really doing your goals and objectives the way they should be handled. It should be something that we are constantly looking at and doing, and I'm sure the leadership, as far as Dr. Sutherland and her team, are looking at that all the time. As a school board, we're not looking at that. So I just think, during that time, we need to pull it out and get refreshed on, and Dr. Sutherland tell us this is where we are on this, and this is the measurement that we've met.
And I will say that all the information that the directors bring you at the planning sessions, every one of them hit our goals. To have it out in a booklet or whatever, no, that I haven't brought that, but that's why I asked them to get up and speak about their work, to share data and all of those things. But everything that they say hits those goals. So, yes, I agree with what you're saying. You just don't have it laid out in your own papers.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the whole point of that meeting, is to follow up from last year and set next year's. But I don't think it's our job to daily check and review how they're meeting their goals. We give her the goals and the objectives we have for the year, and then we wind up interjecting and sidetracking the director with things in the way. I think that planning, that retreat, is set to give them direction for the year, and our follow-up is hearing from the directors and hearing from them as we're at our board meetings and our work sessions. That's not a meeting once a year to say, what do we do? What are we going to do next year? It is to hear the annual report and set out the goals for the following year and the direction.
Okay, I think we're to June 17th or 18th, because the 15th is county commission, right?
I mean, we can always do the 15th. I would just have to be back by the 7th.
Probably nothing happening in the June County Commission
don't
anyway,
think-
sir.
The county, that will be when we have our Charlotte.
Yeah, that will be, I can make any day work. I'm in the meetings that night.
Can you make 17 or 18, Aaron, even though it's not a Monday?
Yeah, I just thought it'd be easier not to do it in the middle of the week, but I don't care. I'll make whatever you say, do.
Anybody have a preference, the 17th over the 18th? Or vice versa?
Matter to me what day we do it.
Do y'all want to do the 15th? I mean, we just have to be at the county. We're planning, so the stuff for the county commission we have already presented, because that would be their regular session voting.
Yeah, if you went to that day to present, you're already in trouble. That'd be done. The work session.
That's right.
By them.
So we
So
would.
you want the 15th, Aaron?
I'm good with whatever y'all say. It don't matter to me. I just thought
If
it's
that
easier
helps you.
to not start a work week till Tuesday, but it don't matter to me.
Let's just do the 15th.
All right, let's do the 15th, Aaron.
Okay.
We'll give you a win.
Thank you.
And we'll get more details on it. June the 15th for that.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got we've got May 7th, the planning session. Tuesday the 12th at Charlotte Middle. Regular session on May 28th. Mr. Hall, do you have something?
Yeah, board members, I misspoke earlier. Well, I thought I had sent the thing, but it was sitting in my outbox. I was, while y'all were trying to find a date, I was looking at my email and I noticed that the memorandum on the charter school issues hadn't been actually sent. So it has been sent now. So my apologies.
Any other comments or questions?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.